welcome back everyone to another episode of Business Talks. I am your host, Chawanne Burns. In today's episode, we are going to discuss Donald Trump and the attempt assassination of Donald Trump. We're going to discuss the details of that and the aftermath of the Pennsylvania rally. And there's I guess, I don't know if you want to call it Black Twitter or Black Instagram. I don't know what you want to call it, but it's mainly liberal media and, some people that, actors and what have you, that is saying that this assassination attempt on Donald Trump's life was staged. And so we're going to discuss who's saying these things. And we got some other stuff that I want to talk about. So stay tuned.
Something like this. Looks a little bit like I can't miss. Hey, this is what you call a bad. What? This is what you call a bad. Something like this. Looks a little bit like I can't miss. Hey, this is what you call a bad. What? This is what you call a bad.
You guys put in the chat, let me know where you're viewing from. I see we have Kennard the DJ from Chicago. What is good? Noble Young is in the building. Champions, good afternoon to you as well. We also have the champion saying, I watch all media, including globally. You guys, like I said, put in the chat, let me know where you're viewing from. We're going to get started. This first video that I want to share with you, a lot of people have not circulated this video. I just found it on X when I was just doing my research. And this is, some people were saying that they did tell or they notified the police when they saw this guy on the rooftop. Okay, the rooftop, probably about 150 meters from where Donald Trump was speaking. And they noticed that this guy scaled the building and he was sitting to the side. So that's the first video I'm going to share with you. And, the audience realized it. But for some reason, the guy that attempted Donald Trump assassination, he was able to gain access to this building, and the CIA or Secret Service was unaware. So we're going to share with that. This is the first video now, and then the video during this video is a two-part video because they're sharing both of it. So, and this is where Trump was actually speaking on the stage, and they noticed that the guy was scaling or on top of the rooftop, sitting on the corner, at the corner.
And still I'm here with you fighting like hell to get a senator.
What's happening?
And to make sure we take back the White House, because if we do, we're going to make America better than ever before. We're going to make it.
Yeah, look,
and it's
here he
not
is.
easy, because we have millions and millions of people in our country that shouldn't be here. Dangerous people, criminals.
Now, if you guys don't understand what's going on, this person is actually at the rally. This person is actually at the rally, and they're saying, hey, you're let me just do it like this. And that's what they put, plenty of time of opportunity to eliminate the threat. This is for the guy that was on the building for about 4 minutes. That's why some people are saying, oh, this was an inside job.
We have criminals, we have drug dealers, we have people that should not be here. And it's much tougher than if it happened. We have the strongest border ever. In recorded history, we're the best border. In fact, if they could ever put up a chart, I don't know if they can do it. Do you guys have access to that chart that I love so much? You don't mind if I go off teleprompter, do you? Because these teleprompters are so damn boring, I try and explain that. Oh, there's a, wow. You guys are doing it. They're getting better with time. my guys, take a look at that chart. Take a look at the arrow on the bottom. See the big red arrow, right? So that's when I left office. That was the lowest point, and that comes right from the government services, comes right out of Border Patrol. Take a look at that. So that arrow is the lowest amount of illegal immigration ever in recorded history into our country. And then the worst president in the history of our country took over. And look what happened to our country. Probably 20 million people. And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something, you say,
I hope he's turning this way. Be careful, guys.
We got breaking news. We got breaking news coming in. Shots fired. Seems to be shots fired at the Trump rally. Is he okay?
So this is so horrifying because that's why I don't understand. I really don't understand that, after you see all these videos and it's play by play, this is a different angle than what, your news report. This is actually from someone that was actually at the rally. And you're telling other people, you're getting online and saying this is a fake or staged event. And you heard. Now, I don't know. I shoot guns. I go, you guys probably seen some posts where I go practice shooting. I haven't been in a while, but I go practice shooting. We do have several firearms in our home. They're all locked up, but we are avid gun owners. And when you're in the gun range, you don't hear no bang, bang, bang. You hear pop, 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 and some people are not used to what they're hearing. So that's why you see some people were standing up because they don't know. They don't know what a gunfire sounds like. But so that's why some people were standing up and in confusion. And then another thing, this whole time Donald Trump was kneeling down, he was literally praying. There's another video where Donald Trump was praying. They showed him praying.
We need to go live right now. We are live right now at the Trump rally. We don't know if President Trump has been shot. We know he hit the ground. We do not know if President Trump has been shot. He's up. He's up. Shots are still continuing to be fired. He's giving a thumbs up, everybody. He's giving a thumbs up.
I like to say that when he raised up and put his fist to the air, that was straight gangster. I felt like, oh my goodness, this would have been a horrific event, but God has his protection around Donald Trump. He's supposed to fulfill some type of duty. Hello, the 47th president. Donald Trump will be the 47th president. I don't care if you guys like it or not. That's his calling. That is his calling. God is not done with him yet, because if he didn't turn his head, he would have been a dead man. It's not called lucky. It's called being blessed. God had his protection around Donald Trump.
We want
Breaking news right now. This is Vanessa Broussard reporting to you live from Butler, Pennsylvania. We hear shots fired at the rally not 10 to 15 minutes after President Trump arrived. He hit the ground. Unheard of yet if he has been hit by gunfire.
Lá em cima,
Secret
né?
Service
Aqui, ó.
quickly erupted.
You can see the guy
You can
there.
see the snipers on the building behind the.
I think they hit him because the guy he looks dead.
So in the aftermath gunfire that you heard was the sniper at the other rooftop hitting the guy. There was ample a time for them to stop this whole incident. This whole incident could have been avoided. Number one, Secret Service should have cleared all these buildings. Number two, they should have had these buildings manned. I'm just speaking. I'm not a Secret Service expert. This is just common sense. Common sense. Common sense that this should have been done. I believe the Secret Service, the head of Secret Service, should be. She should send in her resignation. I really do. I really do. And then not only that, Secret Service not only really denied Donald Trump protection. You remember they tried to scale back his protection, I think back in October or November, saying, oh, he's not in any real threat. Just like JFK, John Kennedy. Robert Kennedy. Just like Robert Kennedy. They're saying that he's not a real threat. They didn't approve his Secret Service detail, which is really baffling to me. His two relatives died. They were assassinated. And so you're denying Secret Service protection because they're your political opponents. Let's just get that out there. You're denying their protection because they're your political rivals. Okay, so I believe that Secret Service should be held responsible for this whole debacle. Now, Donald Trump, thank God he's wasn't severely injured. The bullet grazed his ear, and they said he's walking around with a bandage. But he was out golfing. I don't know if it was the very next day. I believe because it happened Saturday, so he was out golfing on Sunday, and he sent out a tweet saying that he appreciate everyone. For their prayers and all that stuff and standing behind him. But he's calling for unity. That's what someone tried to assassinate you. They're the villain lies. They demonize the mainstream media has demonized Donald Trump since 2000 and prior to 2016. Prior to his first election, they demonized him. They said he's a racist. He's a threat to our democracy. A week prior to from this event happening, Biden said we need to put a bullseye on Donald Trump. So all this rhetoric that you're feeding and this propaganda messaging that you're feeding to these people, and then you're stirring up the pot. So what do you think is going to happen? Somebody trying to kill the so-called threat of democracy. This is what you're preaching. And people are gobbling this stuff up because they're not using insight. They're not using critical thinking skills. I'm just trying to get to my profile. And just to share the tweet that Donald Trump put out. Okay, so this is what he put out. This is what he put on True Social. He said, "Thank you to everyone for your thoughts and prayers yesterday, as it was God alone who prevented the unthinkable from happening. We will fear not, but instead remain resilient in our faith and defiant in the face of wickedness. Our love goes out to the other victims and the families. We pray for the recovery of those who were wounded and hold in our hearts the memory of the citizen who was so horribly killed. In this moment, it is more important than ever that we stand united." Donald Trump is not saying, oh, it's going to be a bloodbath. What mainstream media is trying to say. Oh, remember he said this, and twist his words and add content or say it out of context. He's not saying that. You're getting it from here. This is what Donald Trump is saying. He didn't say, oh, mount up, make sure you bring your guns, and we're going to get our justice against liberals, even though they're saying some horrible things. They're saying some horrible. The man almost lost his life, and they're saying some horrible things about him. True, united and show our true character as Americans, remaining strong and determined, and not allowing evil to win. I truly love our country and love you all, and look forward to speaking to our great nation this week from Wisconsin. DJT. This is a true American. Why wouldn't you want someone in the office that loves you and his country and loves God? Why wouldn't you want to? Why wouldn't you want to vote for someone like that? No, but you want to vote for someone that don't love America. They don't put Americans first, and they tell you a bunch of rhetoric about their political opponent. That's not true. So this is your president, Donald J. Trump, and he took a bullet for you. Basically, he took a bullet for the American people because he's trying to stand up for what's right. Anyway, so what they're saying, I'm going to get to some of your comments. I see champions from Palm Spring, California. Tom Wilson, thank you for tuning in all the way from Germany. Lexi is in the chat. Thank you for tuning in, Lexi. Robin Rose, Western Birds of Chicago. Samuel J. Crazy thing is the guy actually saw the assailant there and was warning the cops, but they didn't pay heed. Exactly. Thomas Huber, best coverage and footage. Detroit, Michigan, love Chawanne. I love the D. 313, what up, though? Get noticed with Nikki. Hey, sis. Hey, fam. Thank you for tuning in. Get Nikki. Lexi says Benny Thompson introduced a bill to take away President Trump's Secret Service protection. Exactly. They want the guy exposed. They're not trying to protect Donald Trump because he really values Americans. They don't want you guys to have any jobs. No, they don't want that. They want a war. That's how they make money. That's why they're not standing with peace with Palestinians, and they're funding the Ukraine war. They're making money off of it. That's why they're ushering in millions of people to take specifically Black people's spot, because they don't want they tired of Black folks. They tired of you guys whining about reparations, so they're going to usher in somebody that's more appreciative of America, quote unquote. I'm not saying it. They're saying it. They're telling you to your face. Anyway, did anyone see Melania's letter to Americans? Yes, and it was a beautiful letter. Beautiful, beautiful letter. And I'll probably read that. I had to go in my box to find it. Marcus Hicks from Pittsburgh, thank you for tuning in. And you guys, Lexi, I love that. United we stand, divided we fall. We got to stand united. We can't let naysayers say things that are very anti-American things. We have to stand together. I want to go over a former U.S. Army sniper reacts to Trump assassinations attempt, and then we're going to get into what they're saying on social media. Okay, so this is I forget what the guy's name, but he's been commentator on Fox several times. This is not the first time I've seen him. So this is him. Yeah, he specifically is talking about why the Secret Service failed or what might have had happened.
Was this, Corey, from 130 yards?
Look, at the end of the day, this is a shot that your basic training boot camp soldier is requested to make within their 9-week period. This is one of the easiest shots, and they train all the way out till 300 or 500. And when I was doing the counter sniper, it wasn't with the United States Army. It was actually when I was with the State Department and was doing this exact thing, which is trying to look at going out with an advanced team, establishing what the perimeter is. And then as a sniper, when you would set up, you'd put together your range sketch or your range fan cards. And that would tell you where your 100, your 200, your 300, and you'd identify the areas of threat that you would be able to mitigate. And if there's multiple targets, you understand that your elevation and windage knob wouldn't have to be messed with, especially at 160 yards. You could literally just look, quickly glance, and know from the reference point, whether it be a building, whether it be a lone tree, whether it be a parking lot, maybe it's a road. Bottom line is that this is massive negligence to the point of me speculating on what was intentional and what wasn't.
Wow. When you're doing a site survey and you're seeing this rooftop not that far away, why did it look like the counter sniper team was a little surprised?
You know, I can only speculate, and we'll have to wait until the investigation comes out, that they thought local law enforcement was potentially climbing up onto the roof when they saw a dark object on a light roof. But here's the issue.
Wait, you're saying maybe they misconstrued crooks for a friendly, for local law enforcement?
It's very possible. I don't want to speculate until the investigation is over, but the bottom line is that if you saw someone climbing onto a roof that you hadn't authorized any clearance on, it's got a clear line of sight. It's exactly adjacent to the shooting where the president was sitting, and you're talking about a pop shot, and you got people yelling, and there should have been comms. The minute that local law enforcement, who apparently had a rifle pointed on, there should have been an emergency frequent comms channel that they could have said, we have a shooter on the roof, shooter on the roof. Secret Service should have rushed the stage and immediately took the president and took him off, and then responded to the counter sniper. The shot should not have gone off. That is the failure in itself. You're supposed to be able to try, the best security is when you go in and you're actually able to prevent an incident, not react to an incident. Even if you would have left a law enforcement officer's patrol car in that parking lot with the lights on, that could have been a deterrent. But when you have nothing that is actually showing force protection, you're encouraging this. Look, I'm not sure about who the individuals are on the individual detail Secret Service, but I can tell you under this Biden administration, the one thing I've seen is massive DEI hires. And I can tell you, when you primarily go after DEI, you end up with DIE.
So when you have these counter snipers waiting until 8 rounds are fired, what accounts for that?
To be honest with you,
after the first shot, you get a return fire immediately?
The minute that a shot rang out, they should have already been on scope. Your spotter should have already have called the distance if you hadn't looked at your range card, and you should have immediately engaged. Okay. There should have been no reason to have waited a single second. Now, I talked to Eric Trump after the incident. Eric and I are both gun enthusiasts. We both shoot long distance. That right there is a pop shot. But he did say, I've gone out with the CS teams, and they are one of the best. He knows the service detail that's with them. They are loyal individuals who actually do care about the president. I can say that was relayed to me. But the bottom line is this is a massive security breach. This is a huge failure at negligence is at best. But we have to figure out why something within 200 yards. Think about this, Jesse, 200 yards. That means that an average rifle that holds 1 minute of angle would hold a 2-inch grouping if you just shot it straight off the deck, meaning on a platform. So now you're talking about 160, which is 1.6 inches is what its grouping capabilities are. The average head is what? 6'8", shoulder to shoulder is 20 inches, head to waist is 40 inches, and President Trump's a very large man. This is a shot that within 5 minutes I could teach you to make 9 out of 10 times. So this is divine intervention. This is the God having his protective hand and wearing Ephesians 6, the armor of God, over the president, because this is right here, a millisecond or a millimeter and change, and this isn't an attempted assassination. This is an assassination of a president.
The devil was in Butler, Pennsylvania, but so was God.
Well, and I can say one more thing, if I may, which is that let us also remember that King Henry II went in and said, "Can no one rid me of this turbulent priest?" And his knights went out and killed the Archbishop of Canterbury because they thought that was a direct order. What do you say when President Biden says it's time to put a target on Trump? That, in my opinion, is the insightful rhetoric. That's the stuff that they would have went after for the J6 stuff. So why don't we have our own J13 investigation?
Yeah, there needs to be a full investigation.
It needs to be a full investigation. Going back to the point where he was talking about the DEI hires, the woman that was ushering Donald Trump in the car, and one woman, and let me just go back to the clip. One woman, she was fumbling with her gun, and she was fumbling, and she was supposed to, I guess she was trying to get it back in the holster, and since she couldn't get it back in the holster, she decided just to keep it in her hands. So stuff like that, that's what he's talking about. But you made it to the Secret Service. You should probably, I think you guys put in the chat. I really don't know. Secret Service, don't they usually have some type of other military background before they get to the Secret Service? Or they're testing high on some other aptitude scores and, weaponry or whatever. But usually they have some other type of training or military background. So they're like a very elite people that they usher into the Secret Service. You're not a cop. You're a super cop, if you're in the Secret Service. And that's what they're talking about when, I'm not against for women being cops or in the military or Secret Service, because I thought back in the day I was going to go and enlist in the military. But my mom, she was like, "No, you ain't about to do that." but I wanted to have some type of field in law enforcement, and maybe not on the field, because I know since I'm 120 pounds, what am I tussling? So like 120-pound man could have the jump on me. So this is what I'm saying. The things like that. Even Donald Trump is 6'4". So why would you get someone as short as 5'4" to cover Donald Trump? So, and then you could see, okay, this is maybe a DEI hire, and what's his name? Joe Biden, he was saying that he's going to have a cabinet full of diversity. And sometimes diversity doesn't work. It like he said, instead of having DEI, you have that DIE. You have people dying. Instead of hiring somebody based off their ability, you're hiring based off because they're a woman, because they're Black or Latino or whatever. They're some type of minority group. They're a lesbian, which is so really ridiculous. I'm going to hire you because you're a lesbian. And I don't have anything against lesbians, but why would I hire you because you're a lesbian? That's not a attribute. What makes you special because you're a lesbian or a gay man? It doesn't make you special. Anyway, I just want to go back to the part where, let me see if I could pull that video back up, where he this is it. This is just a short clip. And they almost look like paid actors, right? like paid actors that don't know their job. I'm sorry. They don't know their job. They made probably any I guess experienced woman that is in the Secret Service. You could tell these are not experienced people. If they are, they did a very bad job displaying that. They're saying that, you know, that they look like they look retarded. Can we say retarded online? They look slow. They really do look slow. You ran away from the car, then you ran back to the car. Somebody, you see the girl, she try to get the door open for what? Why would you want to get the door open? So this is what they're saying, you know. So when you have that kind of stuff, of course it looks really bad, and that's why people are really upset about this whole scenario. And you have the lady that's over the Secret Service, well, the person that's over a Secret Service is a woman. So maybe she hired, and they said, oh, we're gonna put all the new people with Donald Trump. We're gonna put all the new people, all the newbies with Donald Trump. Lexi says, I'm sorry to say this, but Secret Service needs to stop with the DEI hires. Those women supposedly there to protect Trump were a joke, and it was so embarrassing. It was very embarrassing. Very embarrassing. IROC said, no, the worst part is when the woman was hiding behind Trump. Yes, there's another video, and the woman was literally ducking. You're supposed to be covering Trump, and she was ducking. She was scared as hell. And you signed up for the Secret Service because you're willing to take the bullet, even though you supposed to have a bulletproof vest on, but you're supposed to jump in front. Oh, I see a shooter. Let me jump in front of the president or whatever. But you're willing to do what is necessary so the most value, the leader of the free world, will not lose his life. That's the thing that you signed up for. But she was ducking, and she was hiding behind him. And the male Secret Service members, when the men were protecting Trump, that is 100% true. I wish I could find that video. I think I have it somewhere, but yeah, she was ducking and hiding. Somebody posted that online, and it looks very bad to Secret Service. Number one, you let the guy scale the building that was 150 feet away or 150 meters away, whatever, and you let him scale the building. You didn't have those buildings covered, and like we just heard, that's the easiest shot to make. And you let somebody scale the building and take the shot. Everybody was warning you, and you still didn't get the guy. And then this happened. You got newbies on the front line trying to protect Trump, and they were actually terrified. They didn't know what was going on. They didn't know. They didn't have a clue. They hired soccer moms. Michael Brown hired the Proud Boys. Yeah, he probably need to hire somebody. There was another guy, black guy. He said, Donald Trump, you need to cut out the Secret Service. You need to hire some people from the hood. Because they won't let shit go down unless somebody is, you know how the hood works. There ain't nothing going on unless we allow it. But anyway, you think these chicks would like look like female UFC fighters and not teen mom 2 actors. LOL. Yeah, and they look ridiculous. They really look ridiculous. And it looks really bad for Secret Service. It looks really bad on women. And like I said, I'm not per se against them hiring women, but you are supposed to know what you're doing. You're not. You're supposed to be on top of the game. You're the super cop. You're not just some Joe Schmo coming off the street. You're Secret Service. You had one job and you failed at it. One job was to protect this man and you failed miserably. Anyway, okay, so that is that. So Secret Service, they really need to call for her resignation, and I hope she does resign. She really does needs to resign. This another quick. I'm just trying to build you guys the story. So, and I know I have a lot of people online probably they don't believe the narrative was staged or this assassination was staged. But I just want to, let you guys see some of the people they've already spoken out. This one lady, she was on Fox News and she was actually supposed to interview Donald Trump. So she was on the side of the journalist side. So she had a different point of view. Where that's playing, I'm trying to get rid of that. So yeah, she had a different point of view, and this is her.
With more, Selena, I'll start with you. 4 feet away. Let's talk about what you saw, what happened. Walk us through it. That had to be harrowing.
It was. I'm not quite sure if the impact has hit me just yet. I want to backtrack a little bit and tell you, just before the president went out to speak last night, I met with him just briefly. He was in a back holding room, meeting mostly with local law enforcement, getting their picture taken with him, shaking their hands, and I went back. I was supposed to go and interview him after the event and fly to Bedminster to do that. And he was in great spirits. He talked about how excited he was to be in Pennsylvania and how much Pennsylvania meant. Within 6 minutes, I was standing in the bumper. That's the well that is outside the perimeter of where the president is on the stage, but before the audience with the other photojournalist. And he came out, he was waving. I moved to what would have been his left and was standing right there. And he, if you've ever been to a Trump rally, he never looks to his side. He always looks forward. He always looks forward. And he put a chart up behind him, and he turned, and just as he turned, I heard pop, 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 and you saw the red on his face. And he goes down. He doesn't fall down. He kneels down. And I was standing right there. He heard pop, pop, pop again at about the same time when you saw the Secret Service and other law enforcement surround him and bring him down, and sort of a protective shield. And I was at that point laying there with one of his advance men laying on top of me with my daughter beside me.
Let me ask you this. How many shots do you believe, based on your very close proximity, were fired in the direction of the president?
You okay?
I heard at least 6 shots.
Wow.
I heard at least 6. It could have been 7.
Not just 6. I mean, did you hear, for example, did you hear them like landing right there by the podium? Did you know that they were right there?
Past me.
Right past you.
Yeah.
Wow.
They went right past me. Yeah.
That's chilling. All right. Thank you. Hold on, Selena. Dr. Jackson, good to see you. Your nephew, first of all, is he okay?
Yeah, he's doing fine, Sean. He didn't have a serious injury. He's doing fine. I mean, I think the biggest thing for him was when they took him to the medical tent. The gentleman that passed away was in the tent there, and I think that was probably more of a trauma to him than anything.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. What did he tell you happened?
Well, he said, you know, they were there and they heard the shots, and they just realized, once they realized they were shots, everybody kind of dropped to the ground, and then he realized that he had some blood on his neck, and then they saw his neck, and some of the other guests that were there said, hey, you're bleeding, and so they took him back to the tent, and I guess...
You have a medical relationship with President Trump and a friendship with President Trump. Right. What do you know about the extent of his injuries?
Well, you know, I went to Bedminster last night, and I've been with the president all day, and I flew in here with him just a while ago, and you know, he's just in incredible spirits.
I've not seen a picture of him since. I assume he's got to have something over his ear.
Yeah, he's got a bandage on his ear. It's a bulky bandage on his ear because, you know, the ear bleeds like very aggressively, you know, and it was more. It wasn't like a laceration you would get with a knife. The bullet, like, you know.
It was a piercing, he called it.
Yeah, it took a little bit off the top of his ear, and so that, you know, that's real friable, and if you mess with it at all, it starts bleeding again. So he'll have a dressing on his ear for a couple of days, I'm sure, you know, to control that. And just,
is it something that may need to be fixed down the road?
I don't think so. I think it'll fill in, it'll heal in. You know, I think it'll be okay. We'll see what it looks like when it's
pretty frightening. And I'm sure, you know, and our prayers do go out to the families, all those families that lost loved ones. We can't forget about them either. Dr. Jackson.
Okay, so and this is a good segue in to talk about some of the victims of this tragic event. Okay. It's really sad that we're seeing on Twitter and even on Instagram that some people are saying, oh, this was a staged event. Well, this is the worst staged event ever, because you had 6 other people that was essentially one died. Actually, 2 people died. 1 is in critical condition. And then there were like 4 other people that were wounded. So it says what we know, this was from the New York Times Post, what we know about the shooting victims so far at the Trump rally is sent shockwaves, of course. And the victims, all adult men, include a longtime volunteer firefighter and a U.S. Marine Corps veteran. All were from Pittsburgh area, according to the Pennsylvania State Police. 1 died at the scene, while 2 critically wounded victims was transported to Allegheny General Hospital in Pittsburgh and were in critical but stable condition, official says. As more details began to emerge Sunday, tributes and prayers for the victims and their families were pouring in, including officials such as Mayor Ed Gainey of Pittsburgh and Governor Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania. Corey Comparatori, it sounds Italian maybe. I'm killing the guy's name, but he's the guy that actually died on the scene. He was 50. He was fatally shot, and he was shot in the head. I believe that's the guy that was kind of standing in the same direction where Trump was at. He was on that stage. Okay. The very horrific event. And he was a father or 2, you know, and they said he worked at a plastic manufacturing company and he loved fishing. He served as a chief of Buffalo Township Volunteer Fire Company. He attended nearby Cabot Church, and he was elected as a future trustee in 2021, helping oversee issues such as the church property and insurance. And everybody said he was a good man, very humble guy. Okay, David Dutch was also one of the victims. 57 years old. He was from New Kensington, Pennsylvania. He was once a member of the Marine Corps. He's been a very long time supporter of Trump. And there's another victim named James Copenhaver, and he's 71 from Moon Township, Pennsylvania. I guess Albert Quaid, a supervisor of Moon Township, said he first met Copenhaver a few years ago at the local board of supervisors meeting, which Copenhaver attended to share concerns about development project near blah blah blah. Okay, but he was a retired person. Okay, they said healthy and retired. Very very tragic incidents and repercussions or the outfall of someone that was just trying to actually take Donald Trump's life. He ended up taking some other people's lives and wounded others. And what is really terrible about this whole thing is the guy was able to scale this roof and end up getting, like the woman said, she thinks she heard 6 shots. I think some reports said he was able to get off 8 shots before they reacted. This is Secret Service. He was able to get off 8 shots. It doesn't matter, 6 or 8, it doesn't matter. Before Secret Service reacted. It's a really, really shameful. They need to gut the Secret Service. Secret Service need to not train it. All the people that was on that detail need to be let go. They should fire them. You need to find somebody that's more capable of doing the job correctly. Because this is not just, I'm going to run up on you and take you out. This is a methodical plan thing. And they had ample time to get rid of the threat, and they did not. That's what makes it so horrible. Anyway, so you have people online, and I'm just going to talk about the 2 because they're famous. There are 2 people that's online saying, this was a stage event. It wasn't staged. We just viewed these videos. You could literally say this was not a stage event. We could literally say God protected Donald Trump. God had his protection over Donald Trump. Donald Trump has not fulfilled his duty yet. That's what we could say. We know that for a fact, 100% fact. But Amanda Seals, and I'm going to talk about the guy who actually did the deed. I don't even want to give credence to his name. I think he was a horrible person, maybe sick in the head. I'm not for sure what was going on with his mental health. But Amanda Seals gets online and she said it was an act, a staged event.
That shit was more staged than a Tyler Perry production of Medea Runs for President. I lived in Harlem long enough to know that gunshots do not sound like making popcorn on the stove. Pop, pop, pop. Where'd the blood come from?
And you could tell Amanda Seals has never been in the hood. We could say that. Amanda Seals act ghetto, but she's never been in the hood. You never seen nothing tragic. You only been on stage acting behind the TV screen. You come with a lot of drama, but you really never got any smoke. You never been in nothing tragic, never really nothing happened to you. Nothing, you're not from the hood. So she's a very sheltered person because anyone could tell you if you've heard gunfire before, you know it sounds exactly like that, what we just heard.
Theater and movies, they have what's called blood pellets. they even, people use them in Halloween. It's basically a pellet of fake blood that's in your mouth, and when you crush it, the blood comes out. To be frank, Small Hands Trump would not respond by raising his fist in the air triumphantly were an actual attempt made on his life. This was, I believe, done to try to show his strength counter to Biden's fragility.
No. This is why we know Amanda's never been anywhere. She's been sheltered. And she's a nut job, because anyone that's been through a significant event, life-changing event. Oh, I almost lost my life. You give praises to God. Donald Trump said, fight for what's right. That I believe that's what he said afterward. I know he said fight for what's right, or fight for America, or fight for what you believe in, or whatever. Yeah. This is an emotional response to, I just almost lost my life. Hello, Amanda. And you act like he got up right away during the gunfight. No, there was some time passed before he even got up. Like, okay, is it clear? Okay, and then the Secret Service, yeah, you could get up. It's all clear now. And that's when he raised his fist, which he should have. This man is a God-fearing man, but you don't. I don't even think she believes. Does she believe in God? I don't think so. I don't think so. She doesn't believe in God, so that's why she says these type of horrible things.
But oh my God, Molly, you in danger, girl. That shit was most.
And I don't know what she means by that. Why would she say that? So that was one nut job crazy person that was saying, oh, it was staged. It's sad to hear this type of stuff from people. And she has 3 million followers on Instagram. People actually listening to this fool. Seals, and this is from Dom's post. It says, Seals said Donald Trump assassination attempt was staged. And she said this shit was more staged than Tyler Perry production of Medea runs for president. I live in Harlem long enough to know gunshots don't sound like making popcorn on a stove. Like I said, Amanda, you're stupid. You're very ignorant to the fact. You never heard a gun. You literally never heard a gun ring off. On stage or in real life. And I'm happy for you. I don't want my kids to hear gunfire unless we on a gun range. I don't want them to be in the neighborhood where they hear gun shots on a regular basis. No, because I know that neighborhood is not safe. But I'm not going to go online and spread my ignorance because I'm stupid. So that was Amanda Seals. Then you had this guy. This guy. He's talking about the victim. This is Destiny.
Fuck the dude, the firefighter guy. Fuck Trump. Fuck the people that support him. I just want you to know, okay? Just in case you're confused or it seems like I'm, whatever. If one of you were in the crowd and you're a conservative fan of mine and you end up, getting blown away or whatever the fuck, I'm making fun of you the next day on Twitter. I am 100%. Fuck.
So he's getting a lot of backlash because he's saying F everybody that supports Trump and conservatives, even the guy that lost their lives. that lost his life. That did, and he's standing strong. I wouldn't be surprised if his YouTube doesn't go through demonetization or lose his channel. I wouldn't be surprised. And he has millions of followers on YouTube. He's a nut job. He's a nut job. And then Black Jack. Black Jack says, after they're singing whatever, don't miss Trump next time. He actually says this on stage. And then you have a crowd of people laughing about it. Very sick individuals.
Happy birthday, make a wish, Canada. Don't miss Trump next time. Thank you.
Don't miss Trump next time. You're calling to assassinate or take someone's life because you don't politically agree with him. Why don't you just go to the polls and vote? No, because this is what I get from all this, you guys. This is what I get from all this. All this back and forth saying, oh, this is terrible. We need to stand united. And then just the liberal and specifically very extreme. I wouldn't say all Democrats, but very extremist Democrats are saying, don't miss next time. It was fake. It was all staged. Make sure you don't miss them, and it's a lot of people out there saying don't miss them next time, specifically Black people, which is very disheartening to hear Black folks saying, oh, you need to kill this person instead of using your power to vote, exercising your right. What I'm getting at is all I hear and all I see is that Democrats cannot accept rejection. They've had a bad week. Biden is going downhill. And since you can't get your way, the only way to get your way is to take Trump out. Literally and figuratively. They need to take him out. And all I see is a violent type of party. All the rhetoric that's been spilled against Donald Trump, and it leads to this. You guys don't. What else would have happened? They demonized Trump so much and villainized him so much that they actually had an actual attempt on his life. And then you have the president of the United States, and I'm talking about Joe Biden, saying the same thing that Kamala Harris said. Oh, we stand against any political violence, blah, blah, blah. You said the same, both of them had the same spiel. I'm glad he's doing okay. We don't condone any type of political violence. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. This is what you love. You're violent people. You don't get your way, you burn shit up. You don't get your way, you tear stuff down. You don't get your way, you call for your people to say, oh, put a bullseye on his back. It's time to put a target on his back. Because he's a threat to democracy. This is what I see of the other political party. And it's sad. It's sad that because you don't believe, you say you believe in the justice system, but you don't believe in the justice system. You don't believe in the legislative body, because if you don't get your way, you're mad. Just like AOC, she's bringing up articles of impeachment against one of the Supreme Court justices because they didn't get their way. You didn't get your way, so you're mad about it. And the way you act out is violently. The last 9 mass shootings has been from liberals. Have you guys noticed that? They were non-binary, trans. It was a couple of trans shooters. The liberals. This is liberal justice. If you don't let me have your way, I'm going to beat the hell out of you or kill you. I'm not trying to start a war or anything like that, but this is what I'm just analyzing, and I'm analyzing what I'm seeing. And it's very sad. Samuel Matthews, Destiny is weak. Destiny is a weak person. I was just reading some of your comments. Now, let me just share this other thing with you. Before I move on. This is the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. And he's basically saying Donald Trump is one of the most persecuted politicians in history. These endless attacks are taking a toll. It's time to dial down the rhetoric. It is.
They heat it up like that. It's an objective truth that Donald Trump is probably the most persecuted and attacked political figure in history, certainly among presidents, maybe at least since Abraham Lincoln, Civil War era. And that takes a toll. I mean, when my colleagues go out, Democrat colleagues, and say democracy will end, the republic will be in an emergency stage if Donald Trump wins for president, it's just not true. It's another election. And when they say that kind of rhetoric and they heat it up like that, there are people out there that take these things to heart and they act upon them. Politicians are not responsible for that, but we do have a responsibility to be responsible. I mean, we're not asking for much. Let's just dial the rhetoric down. Let's have a vigorous debate. That's what our country's built upon. But we have to see one another as fellow Americans and not enemies. It's an objective.
Why is he looking like this? What's this guy name? Is it I forget what his name is, but is it not Andy Cohen, but anyway, the other the other gay guy. Why is he looking like this? Oh, really? But anyway, yeah, they need to really dial down the rhetoric. Okay, so the guy that carried out the shooting or tried to attempt assassinate Donald Trump, he failed at his attempt. Thank God. They're saying he was not a Democrat, but a conservative. He was a conservative, and it's saying the FBI is investigating Donald Trump rally shooting as a domestic terrorism. This most likely means manifestos has been found, and this is the guy. He's screaming for some reason. So he's saying slash fascist votes. You know, they said if you're a Republican, you believe in fascism. Don't know why. I sometimes I believe some people don't know what fascism means when they say that. They just heard it because the mainstream media is saying it. AOC said it. So he's saying slash the Republican votes slash their fascism slash their votes. Okay, so that's this guy. He was 20 years old. If you want to know his name, you could look it up. I'm not going to say his name during our show. Like I said, I'm not going to give him credence to anything that I'm doing today. But you know, then they're saying, oh, he donated to the Democrats or whatever. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what political affiliation he was. He was crazy. Can we just put that out there? It doesn't matter if he was a Republican. It doesn't matter if he was a Democrat. It doesn't matter if he donated $15 to whatever campaign 3 years ago, because he's only 20. He was a kid. Somebody got mad at me because I said he was a kid. What do you call him? If I'm old enough to have him as a child, I would say he's a kid. What else would you call him? That wasn't mentally right. He wasn't mentally right. Okay. They said FBI found a few red flags on a would-be assassin. This is on Monday. They said this guy, you know, the guy that carried out this shooting, one of his friends said, no, he was a true conservative. He was very intelligent. He had an associate degree in engineering. He played chess. You know, so I mean, so what do you say about this? They said federal investigators said shooters that identified used an AR-15 style rifle purchased by his father to open fire on the rooftop. So now it's going to be a whole thing about AR-15s. Be prepared, you guys. They're going to start saying we need to ban guns and all this stuff. AR-15, I've seen a few posts. Nobody should have an AR-15 rifle. It's a military grade rifle. No, it's not. It's a rifle. But that's what they're going to start. That's the narrative or the agenda they're going to start pushing again. It's going to, every time we have some type of shooting, they're going to start pushing that agenda. But many of other details, motives that are still unclear. Federal authorities said he had no apparent history of mental illness or previous threats and had not been on the radar of the federal law enforcement. So they just said, based out of the blue, this guy said, okay, one day he's coming to town. Let me just get on top of this roof and try to take his life. Does that make any sense? I don't believe that. Attorney General Merrick Garland said that the shooting was an attack on our democracy. You guys love to use that attack on our democracy. First, you said Donald Trump was the attack on our democracy. Now, somebody attacking him is an attack on our democracies. Which is it? Y'all love to use that word. I think they full of crap. Okay, and he said they said his parents was both licensed counselors, according to the Pennsylvania records. His father worked at a local behavioral health provider, according to his LinkedIn profile. And the neighborhood were the family ties pretty firmly middle class, maybe upper middle class. Maybe it's one of those things that you have two counselors in your home. They just ignore, oh, he'll be all right. They ignored all the red flags. You know, if your child is going through something, you should know that. You should be more in touch with your children, and you should know, oh, that boy ain't wrapped too tight or something. You don't ignore that, because they should have got sought mental health. But you know, some parents, they just ignore it. Oh, I didn't see any signs. No, you saw signs. You just chose not to address it. And it says just 2 months ago, graduated from community college with the associate degree of engineering. He's been working at the nursing home, performed his job without his concern, and his background check was clean. You know, they said he was really smart, though. They said he was really smart. I think they're trying to pin on, oh, this is what, I don't know if it's media or just I'm looking at Twitter. They're really trying to pinpoint of what type of person he is, as far as political affiliation. To say, oh, this is how Democrats act. Oh, this is how Republicans act. It doesn't matter. He's 20. He didn't know how he acted. Because he's 20, he's a kid. He didn't even formulate his self-awareness yet. His brain was literally still developing. So he's a 20-year-old lost person, lost child. That's how I see it. He was just lost. What more can you say with that? Now, if they're looking into it as like it's a domestic terrorism, they're looking into to see if he had manifestos or if they found the manifesto. Well, they need to determine, was he working with someone? Was he a part of an extremist organization? They couldn't find none of that online, besides that one video I just showed you, him screaming at the top of his lungs. That's the only video that they have of him of being extreme. Okay, so maybe he's just listening to social media too much and or mainstream media, and it wounded him up. Maybe that's just a flat out simple reason that this happened. You guys put in the chat, let me know what you think. Alexis said that is not to say he didn't know right from wrong, and that is what matters. He does know right from wrong. He should have, right? You're 20, you know right from wrong. A child could tell you right from wrong. Truth over everything, they say he may have been primary Republican to try to get rid of Trump by voting Nikki Haley in the primary. Yeah, that's a lot of people says that. His degree is a community college degree. But you know, sometimes if you're in advanced math, they let you get a college credits if you're in advanced placement math or advanced placement science in high school. And I know Michigan does that, and I'm pretty sure it's everywhere. If you're advanced, and so you could work on your college degree and you could still be in high school. But this was a associate's degree that he received. Okay. Now, so Trump is either the most blessed person in the world or the most unblessed person in the world, because we know he has several cases pending against him. But one case, now there was a great ruling for that January 6th that they said they can't, the rule that they applied to some of those January 6th offenders, they can't apply it. So some of those charges is going to be dropped. They're going to have to drop some of these charges against these January 6ers people. So that came down. Then you had Donald Trump, somebody tried to assassinate him on Saturday. Then on Monday morning, Supreme Court just ruled. This is funny to me because, like I said, he's either the most unluckiest person or the most luckiest person. Donald Trump, or the Supreme Court, just ruled that where's my they just ruled that they can no longer charge Trump for these classified documents. Okay. Judge tosses Trump document case, ruling prosecutor unlawfully appointed. It says Monday dismissed criminal case accusing Donald Trump of illegally holding onto classified documents. Dealing with former president, another major legal victory as a Republican seeks a return to the White House. It says Judge Cannon, who was nominated by Trump, ruled that the special counsel Jack Smith, who is leading the prosecution, was unlawfully appointed to his role and did not have the authority to bring his case. It marked another blockbuster of legal victory for Trump following the July the 1st U.S. Supreme Court ruling that that as a former president had he enjoyed immunity for prosecution for many of his actions in office. I didn't mention that. I forgot all about that. Yeah. He has some type of immunity. This is what I'm saying. So you have this justice system, you have this legislative system, and you do not respect it. You don't respect the justice system. Democrats and extreme liberals don't respect this. They're mad as hell at this too. They was mad at the immunity ruling. That's why AOC wanted to she's presenting articles of impeachment against one of the Supreme Court justices. Prosecutors are likely to appeal the ruling. Courts in other cases have repeatedly upheld the ability of the U.S. Justice Department to appoint special counsels to handle certain political sensitive investigation. But Cannon's ruling throws the future of the case, which once posed serious legal peril for Trump, in doubt. Smith is also prosecuting Trump in the federal court in Washington, D.C. over his attempts to overturn the 2020 election, but his lawyers have not made a similar challenge to the special counsel in this case. In this document case, Trump was indicted on charges that he willfully retained sensitive national security documents at Mar-a-Lago at the social club after leaving the office and obstructed the government efforts to retrieve the material. So Trump's lawyers challenged the legal authority of Attorney General Merrick Garland's decision to appoint Smith to lead investigation into Trump. They argued that the appointment violated the U.S. Constitution because his office was not created by Congress and he was not confirmed by the Senate. Trump got some good lawyers, that's for sure. He has some good lawyers. And that's why his lawyers are really succeeding at some of these things. They're trying to politically prosecute Donald Trump just to stop him from getting into office. Garland appointed Smith a public corruption and international war crimes prosecutor to give investigation into Trump a degree of independence from the Justice Department under Biden's administration. Anyway, so we can't. Can we say collusion? We could say collusion on that case, this RICO charge case too. Jack Smith, Fonnie Willis, the guy in Alvin Bragg, they all colluded with Joe Biden to prosecute Trump. Trump wouldn't be going through none of this now if he didn't decide to run for re-election. He wouldn't go. He wouldn't be going through this. They're really trying to stop him from winning. And the only way to stop him from winning is to take him out. That's why they got to continue to either politically prosecute him, hopefully he lands in jail, or to physically take him out. That's the only way that he will not win. And if he's in jail, he could still be on the ballot. He still might win if he's in jail. But it doesn't look too bright for Democrats because most of the criminal cases are in shambles. They're either being dropped. The Supreme Court is ruling against them because he has some type of immunity. And so it's not looking good. And since it's not looking good in DC, we know it may not look good for Fonnie Willis either. You know, I think they're probably going to be ruling against her, that she might be removed from the case. You guys let me know what you think. Let me know. Yuck Food Tube, thank you for tuning in. It's good to see you. Samuel Matthews said they rigged their own primaries. Yes, they do. Two of the justices, not one. Oh, she calls for articles of impeachment against two others. That lady's crazy. Facts. None of these cases came up until 2022 when Trump said he will run. And another thing we want to point out, Alvin Bragg said he didn't have a case. They tried to bring this case prior to 22, and he didn't take the case up because he said it wasn't substantial, or it wasn't substantiated. He didn't have enough evidence. So once he decided to run, all of a sudden we're going to have enough evidence to prosecute you. And then they get this quack judge that don't like Donald Trump to prosecute him. And what's the lady name that said he's an illegitimate president? She should have got disbarred. You have a personal vendetta against Donald Trump. They should have never allowed them to prosecute him. Anyway. Thomas Huber, keep it up. You're spot on in so many situations. Well, thank you. Okay, you guys, that was it. Like I said, my heart goes out to every single individual that was injured and lost their lives. So please keep their family in their prayers. They do have a GoFundMe out for some of these individuals. Let me see if I think I did bookmark it. I believe if you just type in GoFundMe for Trump assassination attempt, I believe it would come up. What's the guy's name? Kid Rock donated a lot. It is some other Vivek Ramaswamy, some other people, they donated to this GoFundMe for the victims. Okay, so yeah, we just want to pray, and we want to pray for United States of America. We want to pray for unity. We want to pray, that people's temper would die down. We don't necessarily want to blame each other for what has happened. We just want to keep our nation in the prayers. And the way you fight for justice is getting out there to vote, making sure your vote counts. Okay, that's how you stick it to them. You know, and you're God fearing. Act like you're God fearing. We have morals. You know, we have standards that we live by. You know, so if we're standing united, no one could divide us. So we're going to pray for the nation. We're going to pray for everyone that was touched by this tragic event. And I am sending all my good to you. I will talk to you tomorrow.